Well, alright, here we are. This is my budget spreadsheet template, and this is the front page. This is where it all happens, kind of. It's the overview page. Oh, and first off, sorry, my voice is a little raspy, I'm congested. Alright, so first what you do is you go through and put your expected income, your spouse expected income, and then you come down in all these columns and put in your expected expenses. So, and I think you do budgeting a little bit differently, where I include your expected excuse me, I include bills as budgeted cost. So I would say, like for my apartment, I would put a 600 here because I expect that much. And as you may notice, all of these, or just for demonstration purposes, all of these are $2, all of these are $1, and so that's how that works. This is added all these, or so it just adds all of your expected costs. This adds up all your actual, what you've actually spent as of this date, and this column are the differences. So 2 minus 1 equals 1. And coming down here, this is your budgeted cost, or total budgeted cost. What it does is it adds up all these together, and then it comes up with your total budgeted cost. That's what it's expecting you to spend. However, because I've only got ones in all these, it's going to come out to be a difference. So this is what we've actually spent. That's just adding all these columns up, and it's in this case it just happens to be half of the budgeted cost. It's just the way, because it's half of 2, and so the difference just happens to be equal to the actual cost. That would very rarely actually happen. Actually, it would never happen, because you would never have only spent half what you budgeted. Coming up here, this is your budgeted balance. That's basically to say what it's expecting you your or it's your expected income minus your expected budgeted, or your budgeted cost. So in the case 92 minus 92 is 0, but this is your actual balance, 92 minus 46, and then this is the final difference, which is just the 92 minus the 46 equals the 46. And like I said in my email, I kind of just stole these categories for the most part, and so they could probably be improved upon a little bit. So if you have any recommendations for that, that's appreciated. And okay, but this is going to be where the real magic happens. These down here, these this is where you're going to track your expenses. So first off, our first category is housing. And so first off, what we would do is we'd come down here to housing. As you'll notice that it's the same color, because I got everything in the chart color-coded for convenience. And the way it works is that you just put in all your expenses right here. And then this adds up this entire column, this adds up this entire column, so on, so forth. And then this just adds up all of the totals. So if I were to go and add 2 to each of these, this is now 3, 3, 3, 3, and 12. But if I come back to the overview page, it has now changed my expenses to $3 each. And because 2 is minus 3 is 1, all your differences are now negative. So that's just how that works. And the spreadsheet for your actual cost actually pulls it from these specific numbers. So you just go through, type in all your expenses just as numbers right here, and the budget sheet does the rest. I'm thinking of having more than one style of chart or spreadsheet. This one is actually designed more for people who are not prone to having fancy budgets anyway, and so it's just got this simple, you just put the number in. Whereas if I were to make a one that's a little bit more advanced, I'd probably have a second column right here just for and give you a little bit of a reminder. Say, for example, if we came down here for food, which is, of course, is the same thing, I would have a column right here and say one like Albertsons, Target, Walmart, just where you spent the money, kind of. Alright, but as you can see, all of these are color coded and they all work the same way. You just add in the money and it just adds it all up. So then you come back here, and now these are going to be big numbers because you've got lots of negatives, or you've got big numbers in the actuals as opposed to the 2 right here, and so these are going to be down here, and this is going to mess with your actual cost, and then your total difference is going to be different than you still aren't spending the 96 you're expecting, or 92 you're expecting, now it's 76, and then 16. So as you come up here, your actual balance and difference. Alright, and now on to what you will probably enjoy a little more, the pie chart. I've got a spreadsheet set up so that it will actually pull all of the numbers from your front column, like there's 12, 28, there's your 12 and your 28. So it pulls your actual expenses, and then it puts it into a pie chart. And as it says here, you read clockwise, and they're all color coded. So it brings it color coded this way and clockwise. So housing, transport, food, etc. And so this way you can kind of see what you're spending the most on. As it's right now, housing and transportation. That's not really realistic. Let's come over here. Let's erase all of these. So it goes back to being 6. And as you can see, the chart adjusts itself automatically, which I just think is kind of cool. And then it just tells you the percentage, and it's a visual, which is one of the things I like about bar charts. Then coming down here, again, this is my actual favorite tab, the bar graph. What it does is it pulls your budgeted costs from the front page, puts them here. Then it pulls your spending from the different tabs and puts it here, just so you can kind of see what you have budgeted, and then what your numerical values and such, and it's all color coded still. Then you come down over here, and the way this works is you've got the numbers down, or this is what you've spent so far for your excuse me, what you've spent altogether, and what you've spent fills in the the rectangle, and then what you have budgeted is in most cases, or except for this one, it's the bigger rectangle. It's the one that's see-through. And so as you spend more money, it starts to fill up your rectangle until you actually reach a point where you've spent more than you've budgeted, or in this case, it's actually above that. And as you can see, your spending is down at the bottom, your budget is at the top, or in this case, it's actually not at the top anymore, but it's at the top of this rectangle. And again, like this other one, it actually fills up as you go along. Go back to transport again, just for fun. Let's add another $5. It's now 11, and it is now 11 out of 12. And the way I kind of look at this, and again, this is actually aimed towards people who are not entirely finance savvy. You can fill up your cup, or so to speak, and you can use cup as an analogy, and you don't want to fill it up too much just because it'll start to overflow, and in this case it is overflowing. Alright, well, that is pretty much it. And like I said, I kind of just stole the categories, and I am not entirely sure if you have other categories you would recommend instead. And I can adjust this a little bit as as I need to. So if you have any recommendations, that's fine. I'd appreciate it. And that's all. Thanks.